Hello everyone! This month I wanted to talk about a portion of Edmund Spenser's epic poem, The Faerie Queene, specifically one portion about the noble lady knight, Britomart. The Faerie Queene was published in 1590. Well, books 1 through 3 were. It was later republished in 1596 with books 4 through 6, with book 3 having a slightly different ending, but we'll get into that later. The poem covers the adventures of 6 knights. Book 1 is about the Red Cross Knight. Book 2 is about Sir Guyon. Book 4 is about Sir Campbell. Sort of, but that's a story for another time. Book 5 is about Sir Artegall, and Book 6 is about Sir Calidore. Well, what about Book 3? Well, that story is the main focus of today's video. It's about Britomart, the lady knight who is so freaking awesome! Now, since the Faerie Queene is so long, I'm going to be covering the whole story in different videos since doing the whole thing at once would make this video very long. For this review, I'm going to briefly summarize the beginning parts of Book 3 and then go into heavy detail about the ending of Book 3 since that's what I wanted to discuss today. So, Book 3 starts with Sirs Arthur and Guyon at a jousting tournament where Guyon loses to Britomart. Now, other adventurers call to them, and they must go their separate ways. This is where Britomart rescues the Red Cross Knight, and where we learn that Britomart looked through her father's magic mirror and saw the knight Sir Artegall, who she fell in love with. Now, Britomart and the Red Cross Knight meet up with Merlin, who helps Britomart understand her destiny a little better. Now, while with Arthur and Sir Saturaine, the Red Cross Knight went somewhere else, I guess, they run into Scudamore, who is fleeing the giant Oliphant. The knights chase down the giant, but get separated in the process. Britomart eventually finds Scudamore, who tells her that his beloved Amoret was kidnapped by the evil wizard Buseraine. He has tried many times to get into his castle, but can't. Now, Britomart, being the awesome person that she is, tells Scudamore that she will help him out. They go to the castle of Buseraine, which is covered in fire. Because Britomart is so dang awesome, she gets through the fire and the flames with ease. Scudamore, however, has a little trouble and gets really frustrated that he has to wait outside. Now, Britomart scours the castle. There she finds a beautiful room covered with tapestries depicting the love of the gods. A lot of stories are told through these tapestries. She also finds several other things in this room, like an idol that looks like Cupid, several depictions of war and conquest that happened because of love, weird people entering some kind of mask. Wait a minute. People! Britomart hides herself and watches the procession when she finds Amoret, who looks to be in immense pain. Now it's nighttime right now as this is going on, meaning Scudamore has been waiting for a long time now. Britomart tries to open the door to the room where everyone went, but it's locked. She decides to wait for the next procession. As the door opens, she rushes in and finds nobody there except Buseraine brutally torturing Amoret. Well, Britomart is now ready to hack and slash. She fights Buseraine and nearly kills him, but Amoret tells her to stop since she is bound through Buseraine's magic. So Britomart tells Buseraine he will die unless he frees Amoret and heals her. It is done, and all the magic disappears as Britomart and Amoret flee. Now this is where things get a little odd. Remember how I mentioned that Book 3 had a different ending? Well, the remade ending from 1596 is that when Britomart and Amoret made it outside, Scudamore is gone. He ran away with Britomart's squire. I don't know about you, but that sounds like a sucky ending. However, this plot does continue in Book 4, but that's a story for another day. The original ending from 1590 is that Scudamore and Amoret are reunited and they live happily ever after. Britomart is a little envious and wants love like that, but I think that this gives her hope that she will find her beloved Artegall and they will be together forever. Well, that was shorter compared to most summaries, but trust me, it would be a lot longer if I was reviewing the Faerie Queene in its entirety. Alright, let's get to the analysis. Now, the stories depicted on the tapestries and various images of war and conquest for love were likely meant to be foreshadowing as to how Buseraine is treating Amoret. He used all kinds of spells and charms on her to get her to love him, but she refused. It could also be a reference to one of Britomart's earlier adventures where she chooses to be faithful to Artegall even though she has never met him yet. In the 1590 version of the Faerie Queene, the story seems to come to an abrupt stop. We don't get to see Britomart's quest to find Artegall, and we don't get the continuation that happens in Book 4. I can see why the ending was changed for the 1596 version so that the story could be continued, but I think it still could have worked if Scudamore and Amoret reunited and lived happily ever after. But hey, I didn't write this, and I don't know anything about story standards in the 1590s, so why bother listening to me? Now, there's hope at the end of Book 3. The reuniting of Scudamore and Amoret could be a foreshadowing to how Britomart and Artigal will find each other and be very happy to see one another. And they do! Britomart ends up finding Artigal in disguise, and they duel each other. When Britomart reveals herself, Artigal is instantly smitten with her. Man, I really need to read the rest of this epic poem, because I want to see how this all goes down! Overall, this part of the poem was a fun adventure to read. Even though it's like every other fairy tale you've seen before, there's still something about it that gets you excited. I'd recommend this for ages 16 and up since it gets pretty graphic near the ending, as it does describe how Bucerine tortures Amoret. It's really fun to get to read the adventures of Britomart, the Lady Knight, and I can't wait to read the rest of the books of the Faerie Queene! Oh yeah, I should also mention this. The language is a little hard to understand, so make sure you have a copy with footnotes. Lots and lots of footnotes. You will be grateful that you have those footnotes. That was Book 3 of the Faerie Queene. I know I went into more detail in the ending, but that's because I'm thinking about making another video that has more detail about the opening portions of Book 3. Again, the Faerie Queene is quite a long piece and will take multiple videos to cover the whole thing. I hope you'll stay tuned for the rest of the stories. Happy Daisy Month, and happy reading!